for taking the time to come and join us today at our RentalSaaS overview. Today we're going to talk about how the cloud-based computing, and particularly with our RentalSaaS software management system, can streamline your business. My name is Mark Whiteley, and we are going to sort of do a bit of an overview to start off with, to sort of show you some of the business issues that we found is able to be resolved with using RentalSaaS software. And we're also going to show you a case study as well, which shows you a real live example, and will take you through what RentalSaaS looks like and does in behind the scenes. But first of all, please, a bit of housekeeping. Now, if you could use the expand and collapse control panel on the right hand side, there's a little arrow. You'll see it's orange that you can use to slide that in and slide that out. And if you need to like us ask any questions at any time, just type your questions in there, and we will address those as we go through, or preferably at the end, because chances are we'll probably cover most of the information. But certainly, if you've got something that springs to mind, feel free to pop that question in there. Also, look, if you're running Skype, email, Outlook, or any of those other types of programs that are fairly memory intensive and bandwidth intensive, if you could just close those down so that you get the best experience as far as the video and sound is concerned during the webinar. And we'll move on now. The question we asked a lot of businesses is that, are they still manage their rental business with a combination of spreadsheets, post-it notes, whiteboards, diaries, handwritten notes, school pads, all sorts of things. Now, there's many old school people that live by the diary, which is great, and it's worked to a certain point, but the world we live in today now is all about having the business running when you're not there. So the diary and the whiteboard and the post-it notes, generally require you to be at the business to do that. And the world we're living in these days, more and more people want time flexibility, and to be able to go and build their business rather than making sure that the diary is managed well. So how do we get through that and move into the next stage? So what we also ask ourselves is that, where is your equipment at any given time? That's your assets of the business. Is the equipment available for hire? Again, is that money that you're missing out on? When is it to be returned? Again, that's your property. And has the invoice been raised? Again, are you getting paid for what you're providing as a service? And are your payments being received, which is a very, very important part of the business, because that's why most businesses are in business. And you've probably seen this quote a lot, but Peter Drucker said, look, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And it's very much true, no matter what day and age or what business you're in. So most businesses are busy, most business owners are busy, and what they spend their time doing is doing things like transferring data from one system to another, reconciling equipment status, or finding where it is, or whether it's broken, or whether it's ready to be rented, reconciling payments as to what's been paid, what hasn't been paid, locating equipment. So a lot of time spent locating equipment. Is it on a customer site? Is it in your storeroom? Is it on a truck somewhere? Those are the sorts of questions that RentalSaaS helps you answer straight away, so you don't have to go looking. So what we're saying here, what if there's a more simple and effective way, or efficient way, to manage your business? So what RentalSaaS does is provide a single entry point for all your information. So equipment status, whether it needs repairing, not repairing, when it's available for rent, what the bookings are, when your booking's due back, whether equipment needs to be serviced, and all that information is then transferred through RentalSaaS into your accounting system, which we'll show you in a moment. So we automatically post all billing and inventory into Xero or MyOb, whichever happen to be using. So we are not tied to any one particular program. There's a lot of people out there still using MyOb, and I'll explain a little bit later on in the presentation as to some pathways from those accounting packages into a new way of doing business. So if you've got all those things sorted out and you're no longer running around looking for equipment or seeing whether things are being paid, well, it does kind of leave you a little bit more time to do some more important things, don't you think? So what we're going to address today, on a more serious note, is the rental business challenges. Now, what we've found in our many years, RentalSaaS has been put together over 12 with over 12 years worth of experience in the rental businesses, and the RentalSaaS actually comes from a culmination of lots of customers' requirements. And the information that we get back is that three big important issues are: one, equipment availability information. Is the equipment, I've got a client standing in front of me or on the phone, is the equipment available for hire? Can I get my money back on this capital investment? Number two, regular billing of rentals. I've put my equipment on somebody else's site, they've used it, I need to be paid, but then I've got to generate all this paperwork to get paid. So how much time are you spending billing? And compliance. Now, compliance is one of those necessary things, but compliance in this case here is to do with protecting your assets. So PPS registers is purely and simply to protect your equipment on other people's sites, because once it goes to somebody else's site, you're at risk of companies failing and liquidators coming in and seizing equipment. So compliance is an important part. Yes, it's boring, but it's one of those things that protects your investments. So what we're going to do today is just run over a case study. Now, ABC Containers is, as you can tell by the name, a container rental business. They're in Perth. Now, they have a whole lot of containers out at any given time, and they're long-term rentals. So the great thing about the business model is that the containers are out and they're generating money for them. So what they were doing was that they needed to raise invoices every single month, and they were taking 3 to 4 days to raise these invoices every single month. And it got to a stage, I suppose, when as the business grew, get to a point where the more they sold, the more paperwork they had to do, and it ended up stifling the business. So what they found was it was taking actually 3 full-time staff just to involve, as well as it's including the business owner, as we say in the text there, to run the billing each cycle each month. So everyone hated bill day. So what they needed though was 100% accuracy, because there was 10% errors, which is bad, looks bad, and it means you don't get paid on time or don't get paid the right money. And what they wanted to do was obviously reduce the staff involvement, because wages are a very big expense in this business, and the less staff you need to run the business, obviously the better profitability there is. So RentalSaaS was installed, and the long-term rental processing for the end of the month took only 20 minutes. That's down from 3 to 4 days, only 20 minutes. So what they did was they redeployed the staff, and so they were able to get better productivity from the staff they had. And so now they're using one full-time staff member to run and manage all the business. So that's taken from 3 to 4 people, including the owner, down to 1 person, which is a massive, massive change. And look at your business and the figures, but how much that's worth in dollars, varies on the business, but it's at least $50,000 to $100,000 per year in wages and also cash flow, I suppose, is the other point as well, because if it's 100% accurate, you get paid on time. Most times. Now what I'm going to do is hand you over to Siva. He's our training specialist. He's got a lot of technical information, so if anything comes along the way, just feel free to put those questions up as you go and we can address those. And he will take you through each part of the rental process, so from customer inquiry all the way through to invoicing and billing. I'll hand you over to Siva. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sivakumar, and I'm the training specialist here at RentalSaaS. And it's a pleasure to be on the webinar today. As Mark outlined in his initial presentation, there are 3 key business challenges every business faces in terms of managing their rental operations. I will try to demonstrate via RentalSaaS how these 3 things can be addressed very easily and effectively. RentalSaaS is a cloud-based application, so therefore it can be used anywhere at any time, wherever you are, using a browser. We have customers using it on even tablet devices like iPad and Android tablet devices. And in future, we'll be releasing applications, apps on the smartphone devices like iPhone as well to manage your rentals. But RentalSaaS is an add-on application to your accounting system like Xero or MYOB. So therefore, um, it uses the accounting system as the base platform for managing your customers, your debtors, your creditors, your general ledger, and other things. And Rental SaaS adds value to your accounting system in terms of totally automating your rental operations, right? So my focus today is to give you an overview of Rental SaaS and also to show you some of the new functionalities we've been working on in the last many months, and and we are working towards releasing them in the next few weeks or so. There are some exciting new things coming up with Rental SaaS, and it's our pleasure to share these with you today. So without further ado, I'll take you through Rental SaaS in terms of its functionality. Being an add-on system, initially you establish to your accounting system through the load data function that basically links to your accounting system, and Rental SaaS starts to share your customers, your items, your general ledger accounts, your tax codes, etc. Then we add further value to those within Rental SaaS. Now, Rental SaaS has got a lot of configuration screens that you can use to customize Rental SaaS to your business requirements. Simply things like can have some standard comments that you can put it in there that you can use. And if you are in the event management business, there are specific aspects of Rental SaaS created for event management businesses. And also in Xero, if you're using tracking categories, you can set up your default tracking categories to use within Rental SaaS. One of the key things that we focus on is enabling you to also input your standard rental agreement in here. So when you're trying to send out documents to your customer about their rentals, we want you to have everything in one place. So you can simply copy and paste all your rental agreement from your existing Word or PDF documents, and you can make them available on Rental SaaS. I will show you how you can attach these when you send out information to your customers. Similarly with your terms and conditions as well. Again, as you can see, we can have an exhaustive text available in terms of terms and conditions. You can format it to your requirement, making it bold, italics, and things like that. And there is no restriction on the amount of text you can have. Simply copy and paste from your existing Word or PDF, and that's all available in Rental SaaS now. Now, Rental SaaS provides number of fields to capture your rental agreement and other things. However, we recognize that some industries have unique data requirements that need to be captured as part of your rentals. So we provide you with 6 custom fields that you can use for any purpose. Say, for example, if you are um, kind of you know people specializing in say weddings or something like that, or you want to have you are in a different business that want to capture certain aspects of your customers thing. Say you're sending equipment to your customer side and you want to capture access to venue details, etc. Simply call it access to venue or whatever you want to call it in terms of the label, and when you're processing your rentals, you can include that data. If you want to capture the driver license number of your customer, you can do that. Or in case you want to capture the vehicle regular number or something, you can capture that. So there are various 6 fields that are provided to enable you to capture data um, uh, for your rentals. Also, when you are if you're a show or an event management type company sending out equipment to trade shows and events and all that, then you can also capture things like the show code, the name, venue, hall number, stand, and other things. You can make them active or inactive at any time. So you can simply save the details and then proceed further. Now, in addition to charging your customers for equipment rental, you can also charge them for various things like delivery, pickup, fuel, and a whole lot of other charges. Again, all these are configurable by you. You can call them whatever you like and select the general ledger account and the tax code you wish to choose. Right, so again, it's unlimited entries you can have. It doesn't matter how many entries, so you can charge them for whatever you feel like. RentalSaaS also provides you with email templates. For example, you may send out different messages for different purposes. For quotes, you may have one set of messages. For rentals, you may have another set of messages. So RentalSaaS allows you to configure all of those things in. Right? And you can also configure your rental periods. You can have custom configured rental periods as well as standard things like monthly, daily, etc. So you can have even hourly type rentals. If you are charging out things by the hour, you can also do hourly type rentals. So system's got all these functionality that will make your rental processing that much easier. Now, having configured rental SaaS to your business requirements, you can start to maintain details about your inventory. Simply go to inventory management, and this allows you to maintain a whole lot of data about your inventory. You can have you can configure a rental as your own equipment or cross rental from another supplier, and you can specify the supplier name and their charge, or it can also be like a service type item. For example, if you are sending out technicians or electricians or engineers or other staff on jobs along with your equipment to commission or decommission equipment or drivers or other people, then you can include them as service type items and provide them with charge or trace and then rent them out to rental SaaS. Obviously, you can maintain pricing for your equipment rental. Say this is my daily rate, this is my weekly rate, this is my monthly rate, etc. All these can be mentioned as part of your inventory configuration. You can also include a picture of the item. You can simply select the image that you want to upload. And also importantly, system allows you to attach documentation. For example, if you want to keep all your rental gear user manual and things like that, you can simply upload them using this. Select the PDF or Excel or Word document or whatever it is, and you can attach them as part of the equipment. You can configure an item to be either serial number based or bulk item based. Right? There are certain equipment that may have serial numbers, and these are finite in quantity. But if you're like a party good supplier where you supply 5,000 forks and 10,000 spoons or beer glasses, then obviously you can't maintain that many serial numbers. So you can maintain them as a bulk equipment, right? So once the basic data about your inventory item is ready, you can maintain the serial number using the serial number configuration screen. You can maintain other data about your item, such as any comments and then date in, expiry date, etc. So this gives you complete functionality in terms of managing not only your equipment, but also the associated serial number. Now we understand that it can be sometimes time consuming to go through the screen and add each item in. For that purpose, we therefore provide an Excel template. You can simply copy your inventory data into a template like this and import it into Rental SaaS. That will significantly save time and effort in terms of importing your equipment in and starting to use them in your rental transactions. Does it make sense? Right. Now that we have got our equipment in, we can start to explore rental SaaS further in terms of managing your transactions and other things. Before we get into that, we can simply go into the dashboard and see what the current status is. It tells you a booking calendar with all the bookings for the current month. You can go scroll up, scroll down to different months and see what's coming up. Also, you can look at current week bookings. Say I want to look at all the bookings in the current week, and also any rentals for the current week. And you can also check on item availability at any point in time. Suppose you have a customer at the counter who wants to um, rent out certain equipment. You can simply go and find out, okay, how much of this equipment do I have available in my stock? System goes in and clearly immediately tells you you have 6 units starting at the beginning of the month, increasing it to 7, etc., etc. So you can look at immediately and say whether you have item available or not. Also, you can check the closing rentals for the current week. The system will simply tell you, okay, these are the equipment that are due to be returned, say, next week. So you can simply say what is due to be returned so that you can take some proactive action in terms of contacting your customers and see whether they wish to extend the rentals. You want to bring them back so that you can organize your pickups. Okay, let's start with a simple quote to be put together for a customer. So with transaction menu, we can go to the booking module, that is the quoting module within RentalSaaS. So you can start to maintain uh, details of who you're gonna quote for. You can specify their address, and this is whom you're gonna bill. But the equipment is going to be located at another site. You can specify the details of that site. And then you can maintain phone number and other details. However, if the location of your equipment is the same as the customer address, you can simply copy the customer address in there. Then you can specify what equipment you're going to rent out. You can either select by category or select, if you know the item code directly, you can start selecting the item code directly. So you can simply select, say, okay, I want to say audio equipment, and I want to include these things in there, and I want to include 10 of them, or 2 or 3 of them, and I can specify, okay, they're going to go on a daily basis, and these are my rates, and I'm going to rent out for a period of, say, some 17 to 28, right? And however, I'm going to deliver it the day before and pick it up a day later. So this tells the system that the customer is only going to be charged for 4 days. However, the equipment will be marked as being unavailable from the delivery date to the return date. So especially if you're delivering it to major events like concerts or sporting events, etc., you only want to charge the customer for the exact days that you're renting the equipment out to, but the equipment will be flagged unavailable when you deliver and from the time you pick up. You can also add other items. Say I want to include a 32-inch screen. Again, for the same period, add it in. And I want to include a delivery charge. I want to charge them a fee of $50 for delivery, right? And now this is where the sundry fields come in. Remember those 6 extra fields that we created initially? This is where they come in. So you can simply specify what is the access to venue. It is via express lane, contact John 04, blah, 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 blah. And if you want to capture the driver license number of your customer. You can capture it in, and you can save the details. So here we have created a quote, and we can print it. We can print along with the terms and conditions rental agreement, and we can also include these other details that we just created. The system goes and grabs the data, includes your company logo, and generates the printout, including your delivery fee, and also includes your rental agreement and other details so that your customer can sign off and you can start to deliver it. You can also email your customer all the details about the booking, including you can select the template that you want to use. I want to use a booking template and I want to include these things, and simply click send email. The email will be sent to your customer. Now we have saved the data, so when we go to the dashboard, the system tells you that we have created a booking, but that's now tentative. That's shown by the color orange. So from a simple glance of the screen, you can see how many bookings have been confirmed, which are in green color, and how many are yet to be confirmed. So at a quick glance, just looking at the color, the system can give you enough detail about where you stand in terms of your sales cycle. So you can simply go to the rental, assuming that the customer has okayed the quote and they're ready to proceed. You can simply change the status to confirmed. So this tells the system that the rental is now confirmed and the equipment can be logged for delivery. So we save the details and the equipment is now logged. So if we go into dashboard and item availability, the available items would be reduced accordingly. Right. Now that this has become rental transaction, assuming say it's now Sunday and we have to deliver the equipment, we simply pick up the rental transaction, go to the rental transaction screen and pick up the booking. You can search a booking using number of methods. You can search a booking using the booking number, the customer name, ship to address, any of these fields you can use to search for your customer. So we'll simply select the booking in here and all the details come through that we have previously put in. And we can go into the items, and at this stage we can assign serial number for those items that are serial number based. The system tells you that there is one item for which you need to allocate a serial number. You simply go into that item, select the item with the serial number, say I'm going to use that one, and add it in. And at the same time you can also add other details in, and you can simply save it. So this has now created a rental transactions. We can now create a picking slip and you can give it to your warehouse staff so that they can go and clean the equipment up and keep them ready for your drivers to pick up and deliver it to your customers. So include the items and any accessories to go with them, and include other details, etc. Right? You can also print the rental agreement with the tax invoice heading so that you can give it to your drivers to be delivered to your customer, and then follow it up with a proper tax invoice from your accounting system so that they get a full invoice along with their delivery. Now, in your situation, you may not wish to show all the items that you're renting out. You may have negotiated a particular deal with your customer. You may not want to show everything. So therefore, You can simply print with a line agreement saying delivery of rentals for John Smith construction site and print it. The system will simply generate a printout with only one line and the total amount, and the user doesn't get to see all the individual lines that make up the invoice. There are certain situations in audiovisual and other types of industries where do not wish to show every single item that are being rented out. This will be useful for such businesses. Now, this is a short-term rental. Rental SaaS also allows you to rent out on a long-term basis. You may have equipment that are rented out for N months at a time. You do not know when it's going to come back. Rental SaaS provides you with the functionality to maintain such rentals as well. You can simply click long-term rental type, or you can simply say, I want it on a monthly subscribe, and I want to invoice them, say, on the 12th of every month. You can simply specify that. That will let the system know that this is not a short-term rental, and the customer will be billed each month on 12th of each month. However, if you don't want to bill on a particular date, but you simply want to bill each customer for long-term customer at the end of the month for the following month, simply tick on long-term rental type. That will let the system know that this customer transaction has to be billed at the end of the month. I will show you a bit later on as to how these long-term transactions can be processed. Now we have created a rental transaction. We have created the picking slip. Your drivers have picked up the item and delivered it to your customers. And now it's time to invoice your customer. Simply click post to zero or post to MYOB as the case may be, and the invoice will be sent to the accounting system. And we can simply go and see in the accounting system, and all these details come through from the rental system straight into zero, your accounting system. Then you can choose to approve or not approve. It's up to you. So it's simply a matter of finding out what your customer needs, preparing the rental agreement, saving it, and then posting it to zero. Assuming, say, the rental has happened and the customer comes back and says, thanks very much, I want to extend the rental for further period, simply go into extend rentals, select the rental agreement, and say, look, I want to extend this rental agreement for subsequent periods. Go into the items and say, I want to extend it to the next period. And you can simply save and post to zero. Right? Assuming you have hundreds and hundreds of such rentals each month. RentalSaaS provides you a simple way to extend all your rentals in bulk. Either you can select single or multiple, or select everything. You can simply extend and post to zero. Remember one of the business challenges we were talking about in terms of regular billing of customers? This is a huge time saver in terms of your long-term customers where you need to invoice them at the end of each month. Simply select the transaction that you wish to extend or post to the next period. Select them and simply extend and post to 0. You can also send your customers a template. Send customers an email. Just select the template, and all the confirmation is sent to the customer. So customers like ABC Containers in Perth, whom Mark mentioned a few minutes ago, they use similar functionality to manage all their long-term rentals. All the transactions are processed in one go. What it used to take them few days is now reduced to few minutes. That's the power of rental SaaS in terms of driving efficiencies within the business. Assuming, say, the equipment is sent to the customer, however, it rained out a couple of days, they weren't able to use the equipment, or for whatever reason they were not able to use the equipment, you can go and provide stand-down periods for your equipment. Simply select the rental agreement and select the equipment, and then you can say, all right, for this equipment from 18 to 19, they weren't able to use the equipment, and you can provide a reason. The system will ensure that for this period, the customer is not charged for their rentals. For all your long-term rentals that are to be invoiced on a monthly basis, simply go to continuous rentals, bulk. You can choose the month and say, all right, I want to invoice for the month of June. Show me all the transactions that are due to be invoiced for the month of June. The system simply returns those transactions that are long-term, that are marked as being long-term. Select all of them. You can send an email confirmation. And if you have customers with multiple rentals and they tell you, look, we don't want to receive multiple invoices, we only want to receive one invoice for all our transactions, you can consolidate the invoices for the same customer and simply click post to 0. That's a huge time saver for all your long-term rentals at the end of each month. Now, assuming the rental has completed and the customer says, thanks very much, I wish to return the equipment, simply go into rental termination, select your rental. You can say, I want to mark all my items as returned. At this stage, if you want to modify the dates in terms of when they returned, etc., you can simply specify them. And you can also post to 0 if there are any changes. Suppose they return the equipment few days later and you want to charge them for few days of rental, the system charges additional amount for such rentals. Or if they return few days earlier, the system puts through credit as well at the same time. So this completes the complete cycle of from initial quoting to your customers through to complete rental processing, extending them, doing long-term invoicing, and finally a closure on the rental in the form of rental termination. Now, once that is complete, you can extract all kinds of reports from RentalSaaS. Extract item usage by customer. Show me what items, how my items are used. For example, you may want to say, all right, for this period, I want to look at my 32-inch television, see how they are progressing. I want to select all of them and see how they have been used during that period. The system goes and grabs all the data and tells you, okay, this serial number was used during these periods at these customers. another serial number, a different customers. So at any point in time, if you want to find out a history of your movement and things like that, RentalSaaS gives you at the at the click of a button, complete details about your equipment movement. You can also find out rental transactions that are due to be returned. Say you want to find out, okay, what are the equipment that are due to be returned, say, from 17 to 31st of this month, so that you can take some proactive marketing to your customers and see if they want to retain the rentals, extended them, or they want to return. Then you can plan for your business activities accordingly. You can do things like a delivery schedule report. You can generate a whole lot of reports in terms of rental SaaS, including who are my top customers. Show my top 15 customers during this particular period. The system will rank them accordingly and give you a printout. Whether active or inactive, the system gives you complete details. You want to find out what is really out there at the moment. What are the items that are currently hired out? And what are the items that are not hired out? You can also extract utilization summary and detail. Are my equipment getting utilized properly, or do I just have a gut feeling? Right? Are they being utilized 30% of the time or 70% of the time? RentalSaaS gives you complete functionality in understanding utilization of all your equipment. And at the end of the year, if you want to do a simple stock take, just extract a simple inventory list report, and then you can go and mark against your equipment availability to see what is available and what is not available, etc., etc. And do an item movement report. And if you want to have a signage on your equipment, if you want to have a signage on your shelf for your equipment, you can print a self-shine report along with the picture of the item in one place. So there are a whole lot of functionality provided by RentalSaaS in terms of finding out total um, um, information about your rental equipment. As Mark mentioned, there are lots of challenges that rental businesses face. Three of them being equipment availability. You can find out either via dashboard or find out via your report what equipment you have available at any point in time. Second one was regular billing. That's the most key to business cash flow. You can do that by simply doing a rental transaction, posting it to your accounting system, and following it up by regular invoicing via this extending rentals or long-term rental posting, etc. So all that is taken care of by Rental SaaS in terms of reducing your time taken to create those monthly invoices. And finally, compliance. Rental SaaS gives you a whole lot of these reporting to find out whether your equipment is being utilized and other things. And also RentalSaaS gives you the repair and maintenance functionality on your equipment that gives you a complete service history for all your compliance purposes. You can simply maintain details about your equipment service schedules and everything. And you can say, okay, these are the items, spare parts that I'm going to use. And I've got a bit of labor charges, and I've got some other charges, and these are the service tasks that I'm going to do, and these are the checklists that I'm going to do, and any comments and logs about my service schedule and things like that. Then you can simply raise a purchase order to your supplier, and you can also print out for your service history requirements. At this stage, I would quickly like to go over the new version of Rental SaaS and give you an overview of the functionality that we are planning to introduce in the next few weeks or so. That will make your life a lot more easier in terms of managing your inventory and a whole lot of other data. You can also go into the RentalSaaS website and you can explore further. RentalSaaS dashboard is a lot more improved. You can look at um, stock view in terms of availability and say, all right, I want to check availability of my marquees and search, and all your marquee for the current period are shown. And you can also look at a 6-month history of a 12-month history of all your marquee usage. So on an annual basis, you can see, all right, how much do I have available if I want to look at a long term. Again, transaction calendar. You can look at your rentals, bookings, and everything. In terms of your inventory, system now includes a kit functionality that allows you to maintain packages. For example, a big apartment, if you are a property styling company and if you're doing apartment fit outs and things like that, you can maintain, okay, this is my big apartment kit and it's got one bar fridge, two TVs, these many plates, etc. You can build your kit accordingly and start to maintain details about them, and you can use them in the transactions. Same with your inventory. You can maintain details about your inventory, including barcodes and other things. Select your item. You can maintain details such as pricing. Obviously, multimedia, you can drag and drop uh, your documents, your images, and everything else. You can also maintain your barcodes or QR codes about the items. You can generate barcodes as well and print out the barcodes, etc. So there are a whole lot of details arriving in the next few weeks. We'll be happy to forward you these details just before the release of the new system. This is all I wanted to cover in this demo today. I would like to hand you over back to Mark to finalize the next part of the session.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Siva. With that, just before we get to that slide there, I suppose, is to see if there's any questions come up. Let's have a look here. There's a couple of questions here. One question is, if the RentalSaaS is used in the office, can I log in and use RentalSaaS when I'm out of the office? And the answer to that is, of course, yes, because RentalSaaS is a cloud-based application, so that all the data is kept on an internal, or the cloud as they've called it, but it's on a hosted website. So we use industrial strength web services, so that's held offsite. And so that's able to be accessed from anywhere. So yes, you can use the RentalSaaS in the office and post to Xero, as well as read or you look at that data when you're offsite or at home in the evening, or even on a laptop or mobile device. User licenses have been asked, how many at what time? Well, with the user licenses, generally it's worked on a per user basis at any given time, or the annual license. So for a very small operator, so like it's a sort of almost a husband and wife team type of thing, the single user license is generally okay, because you may have an assistant or something or other, and so there's generally one person logged on. But for multi-site and for people who are in a larger organisation, we recommend the annual license. Now the annual license has great advantage and benefit in the course, does include some training with that, and there's a bit of consulting that we put in that as well. Next question is, in the booking calendar, what does it look like when there are many bookings as opposed to one or two? Again, another great question. With the booking calendar, it will fill as you've got a number of bookings in there, and it will actually, Siva's just brought that up for us again, so that will actually just continue to populate those each day. So they're color coded there, so you can see the status of those jobs, and then they will just expand out. So once you've got a whole bunch of bookings on there, it'll just scroll out and fill up those days. Just a second. And obviously you can look at month or week. I'm just getting some instructions from Siva over here in the side, so that's why I've gone offline there. But yes, so that will scroll week, month or day, and as you can see, they will expand out to populate those fields. Okay, thanks very much, Siva. Now, somebody's asked, we're using MyOb at the moment, can we get that data changed over to Xero? Good question. A lot of people are using MyOb. MyOb's been the most used software, particularly in Australia. I'm not sure about everywhere else, but certainly in Australia. And a lot of people have got their historical data. I'm waiting to get finalisation, but it's quite probable, I'll know in a day or so, that Xero have actually offered a promotion at the moment for us to transfer for free your data from MyOb over to Xero, and with that you can get 3 months free as well. So just waiting that to hit my desk. It's from Xero themselves, and obviously we would work with you on that and help you get your inventory up running on that as well. And we've got a package there which includes a little bit of consulting with our annual license fee for the $11.99. Any more questions? Price is obviously the one. Look, when you see, and here are the prices here, the most valuable resource you have in your business is your time. What your time's worth is obviously what you place on it. As Siva's just shown you that the amount of time that you can save in just managing your business, plus the amount of the value that you'll create in the reports and information that will give you to run your business better. Like, what's the value of having to know straight away, who your best clients are, what they're spending every month, so you can make sure that you improve their experience and get them to help you to get a better loyalty, or have a loyalty scheme of some sort. What's the value of knowing what equipment's sitting on the shelf doing nothing, collecting dust, so that you can sell it, get rid of it, and put your money into something else? What's the value of knowing the value of all your equipment so you can depreciate it? And as you've probably seen in the Hocking's budget, there's some incentives there for depreciation and all that sort of thing with your business. So if you know what's going on in your business, what equipment's there, what's working, what's not, you can make those decisions, get the best out of it. The cost of RentalSaaS, really isn't a cost. It'll pay for itself and make money for itself in the first 2 months. And it's really the case of how do you, most of the questions we got, how do we transition our business onto RentalSaaS, and how do we transition our business onto Xero? And so there's a couple of great options there. Xero, as I say, was part of the offer that I've suggested are going to provide us with a free transfer of your data from MyOb to Xero, if you wanted to go to Xero. That's your choice, and RentalSaaS is quite capable of fitting over the top of that. And the other alternative is that some people are wanting to trial Xero a bit longer. There's a special offer that we can do for Xero as well. Another question's come up: is RentalSaaS longer-term goals with Xero or MyOb or both? Look, we're not tied to Xero. We're not tied to MyOb. We want to be as universal as possible, and as QuickBooks as well. So certainly, we're agnostic as far as accounting packages are concerned. Each has their strengths, each has their weaknesses, and that's a business decision that you need to make. And all you need to know is that RentalSaaS will work with regardless of your choice. Another question's come up: if you got no, yearly subscription is upfront. So what the question was there is that if you opt for a yearly or a monthly. So the monthly is month by month, and the yearly subscription is paid up front. And because there is some time spent in consulting on that, which is actually a hard cost, so that's kind of why we ask for that. So that's the question there. Excellent. So we've got some training options here as well. Again, as I mentioned before, time's money, and if what you've got now, as you know, the time of the year is May. I've got June coming up. Then you're ready for the financial year for next year's budgeting. So smart people are saying, look, how can I get everything moved over so I can run on the cloud, have my accounting system set up so that July 1, full year next year, we're running in a streamlined manner. And that means streamlined as in we're not spending all that time chasing paperwork. We've got more time working on the business rather than in the business, and we can deploy our staff in more meaningful tasks and billing and all those trivial sorts of things. So we do provide training there that lets you get up and running very, very quickly. It's $299, which is well over $500 or more worth of value, and training is we've also put $299, which is literally nominal value for the value nominal price for the value that we provide. But so what our business model is moving forward is that we're more a software and a service rather than software as a service. So we're more than cloud-based software. We're providing, consulting. We can provide information to you on how to get more out of your business. The tools that RentalSaaS provides lets you be a better manager of your business, and it's available to run over multiple sites as well. I think was another question that came through. So if you do have multiple sites, if you've got one Xero or one accounting package, you only need one RentalSaaS package to run across those sites, and our licensing is basically based on per user from our website. Look, for the first 5, well, here you go, 3 easy steps to start. So controlling your business. So I'll put my teeth back in there. 3 easy steps to start controlling your business. Confirm your subscription. So at the moment, most of you are on a trial subscription. So if you sign up, we should have access the next day or so of some offers from Xero, so 3 months free Xero with transferring your data from MyOb, and there also is an option there for if you don't need data transfer, 6 months free subscription with Xero and it's for a 12-month subscription with us at RentalSaaS. Send us your inventory data so we can put that in that spreadsheet as you saw before, and that will upload it. And with our 12-month subscription, we also have our time set up for training, so we spend some time with you and your staff to make sure that they can get the best out of the business. So look, thanks very much for taking the time today to sit with us and look at what RentalSaaS can do for your business. I think you've seen that it's very, very cost-effective way to improve your business. The program is the software is being continuously developed in conjunction with our users. So we welcome your suggestions. We welcome any input, because where it's got to so far has come from feedback, and the version that's expected in the next 2 weeks, Siva showed you, has got kit functionality, and it's also got barcode functionality. The question's been asked actually whether that would be automatically rolled over to the new subscription if you subscribe now, and yes, the answer is yes. So if you subscribe to the current version, you will automatically be upgraded once the new version is available, and it's in a matter of weeks. So that will come, and that functionality will come for free. Okay, we look forward to working with you, and thank you again for your time. Have a great afternoon. Goodbye.